I need you to know that. Like, I just came from work. I work at a bookstore, so I get to sell these books to people all day, and I have a great time. And I got this job about all she wrote books in East Two questions for me. One was, do you get an employee discount? I said, yes, I do, and I use it so much. But the other question was, are you going to meet people at the store? And for my mom, it's like, could you meet a boy there? Could you meet a lesbian? But yeah, if you've been to All She Wrote Books, it is a queer feminist bookstore. So, no, Mom, the men I meet are shopping for the husbands they already have. So, it's not going to happen for me there. But I love spending time talking to folks who love Heated Rivalry as much as I do. How are you all explaining it to people who don't watch it? But here's what I normally do, is I say, it is a little bit about hockey. Sort of. It is Larry Bird and Magic Johnson if they were dribbling each other's balls off court. Or if I'm not a basketball person, it's Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner if they were dribbling each other's balls off court. And if they're not a sports person, Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla, if each other's I would lose. And normally after one of those three things, they get it. But it's been really fun for me because I've been a hockey fan my whole life. Like, I have. Hell yeah, black women who love hockey, we're real! We're real! And let me just say to the rest of you, if you looked at me when I said that and were like, well, I didn't expect that, does that make me racist? A little. So, take all the time you need with that, but I only have so much time, so I'm just going to keep talking. Which team? Yeah. Great question. We'll get to it in just a moment. So, I will say I thought real hard about wearing my Boston Raiders shirt. It is the only Boston sports gear that I have, but instead I wore emotionally invested in ice hockey. That's who I am. Yeah, I am a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. I know. But yeah, I grew up in Tampa, so I've got tattoos. I went on the Bolts Lightning cruise a couple years ago. Like, I take it very seriously. So now other people are like, hey, did you know how great hockey was? Yeah, I did know how great hockey was. And now I get to talk to folks who now are starting to love it. They're like primed to get into it for real, but I'm having different conversations than I expected to be having. So I'll give you an example. Back in February, I went to Tampa to go to the NHL Winter Classic. The Bruins did play. They played the Tampa Bay Lightning. My team won. So I had a great flight home. Not everybody else did. But something really unique happened during that game. Does anybody in here happen to know what happened? Goalie fight, yes. Jeremy Swayman and Andre Vasilevsky met mid-ice during the game and fought. This almost never happens. Right? And then they both got penalties, and it's an entire arena of people that are like, what do we do? Do you just play with the goals open? And we end up with a score that looks like a basketball game? But the fun thing for me was when I came back and tried to tell it to people who were newly into hockey, every conversation went the same way. So I would say, oh, I was at the game, it was super exciting, and partway through the second period, the goalies, and before I could finish the sentence, every single woman I went, kiss? And I'm like, but I like that you're trying. Yeah, so we're going to work on that a little bit. I'm going to tell you, at the moment, the answer is almost never kiss. I'm going to allow for some possibility, but right now, almost never. It's also been really fun to watch folks who aren't accustomed to having celebrity crushes, like, deal with that. I have a celebrity crush at all times. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. It's the best. All that means is, like, a lot of my friends aren't accustomed to following folks in that way. And more specifically, because of my age, a lot of women my age aren't accustomed to being very attentive to what boys in their 20s are doing. And I'll admit, it's weird. And it's weirder with a sport because you're very, very worried about their bodies. But I'll give you an example. I spent most of the pre-Olympic break worried about the health and well-being of a 29-year-old in Tampa, Florida named Braden Point. person I should be concerned about. He doesn't even sound like a person, period. He sounds like a place that I wasn't even allowed until 1965. And even then, they would not have been thrilled about it. And yet here I am every day just like waking up and being like, is he going to be able to play? What's going to happen? And because we had the Olympic year, it was even worse. So I had to do it with not just folks from my team, but from all over the country and the world. I'm Canadian. I had to worry about a 19-year-old named Macklin Celebrini. Do you know how weird it is for a woman who's nearly 40 to be deeply concerned about a 19-year-old named Macklin Celebrini? I had to tell that to a friend. She was like, well, he doesn't sound like a real person. I was like, not only is he real, he's in my prayers. Like, every night. Before I go to bed, I'm just like going through the day and I'm like, let's lift up Brother Macklin and pray. And he did great and he didn't get hurt, so. What do you do? He is wearing the C, which I saw somebody say for child captain, which is accurate. So but yeah, it's been really fun to kind of watch folks get so swept up in it. But now we're nearly into our off season. Like we're in the playoffs, but pretty soon we're gonna have a long stretch. And I have folks trying to figure out, it's like, well, we won't have the show, and we won't have the sport. What do we do? If you're not already doing it, I want to use my last couple minutes to put in a strong plug for also following women's hockey. Please do, because I feel like as amazing as they are and as much attention as they're continuing to get, they're still not getting enough. They're really not. And I realized something really interesting. So about a month ago, Time 100 came out. So Time 100 is a list that Time does of the most influential people in the world. So there's athletes, there's activists, there's politicians, and for some reason, Mr. Beast. And Hillary Knight, Captain America, but for girls, made the list. Does anyone remember who wrote the blurb for her Time 100 tribute? I'll give you a hint. There are 732 active male NHL players, and none of them did it. It was Malala. Yes, the Malala you're thinking of was the intuitive choice over any active male player, coach, commentator, or retired individual. Which is super cool on the one hand, because it's like trailblazers writing for trailblazers. I love that. I think that's awesome. But also, truly, no man could do it? I only spent a couple minutes thinking about that, and then it became very clear as to why that wasn't the case. And I had to ask some friends just to be sure, and we've got a lot of ladies here, so I'm going to see. Has anyone here ever needed a recommendation letter for something from their boss? That boss was a male, and he just asked you to write it? Yeah? Okay, so if you haven't had that, we'll do the other example. Has anybody seen... Okay, so I do this. I love my female friends, and I will write very effusive birthday posts for them on Instagram. Because we love our friends, and that's how we should be. But then I'll read what their husband or boyfriend wrote. I have to believe that on the strength of those two things alone, the people at Time are like, we can't let them do it. They're simply not equipped. But the other thing that I love so much about Hillary Knight as a player, as an athlete, is that the day before her final game, she proposed to her girlfriend. So she went into the final game of the game. And it was barely a blip on anybody's radar. Like, practically nobody blinked. It was normal. It's common. And it is. It's very common in the PWHL. And at the end of the day, when I think about why this show exists, that's what I want. I want the PWHL to end up being like the NHL. We only have these books because Rachel Reed is like, hey, the NHL does not work in a way that men can come out, and I want it to. And then in 3 years, women were like, oh, that's all? No problem. And then they just did. So part of me is like, well, let's get the NHL to a place where they are not actively the villain like they are. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone who has to learn this, but it's going to come up. I was like, let it be normal. Let it be common. But then I immediately thought, you know what? I need the escape. I need the TV. Let the boys stay toxic. The girls can handle it. Yeah, that's